This little boy has never been sick a day in his life when he goes to the zoo. Various species of primates going berserk at the sight of him. This chimpanzee even wants to break the glass to attack him. He was born at the time 666 on June 6th. His name is Damien. When Damien is celebrating his 5th birthday party, the house is being watched by a Rottweiler dog. Then Damien's nanny and the dog keep looking at each other. After that, the nanny goes up the roof and hangs herself in front of everyone. Everyone is shocked. So Robert Thorne, Damien's dad, hugs him and comforts him. However, Damien isn't scared at all. He even waves to the dog. In the office, Thorne is visited by a priest named Father Brennan who claims that Damien is the son of Demon, born of a jackal. Damien will kill everyone around him. Of course, Thorne doesn't believe in Father Brennan. When Thorne is about to leave, the priest asks if Damien is his biological son. As a result, the priest is escorted out by security. At that time, Thorne recalls what happened 5 years ago. June 6, 1966, Thorne hurries to a local hospital where Catherine, his pregnant wife, is going into labor. When he gets to the hospital, he is informed that his child was a stillbirth. A priest then offers him the choice to adopt a baby boy whose mother died in childbirth, knowing his wife will be devastated by the death of her real child. He agrees to the adoption. Thorne and Catherine raise the boy as their own and name him Damien. Robert's career ascends over the course of the next 5 years. He is named Deputy Ambassador to the Court of St. James. And after the ambassador dies in a bizarre accident, Thorne becomes USA's youngest ambassador. When the nanny commits suicide, a new nanny, Mrs. Baylock, is hired. However, strange things keep happening. The family travel to the church one Sunday. Damien becomes more fearful as their car approaches the church. He has a violent reaction, in which he injures his mother trying to get away. As a result, the family has to return home. That night, Catherine experiences a first premonition dream about Damien. The next day, Catherine with Damien, traveling through a safari park. She realizes that no one plays with her son. After that, various animals react with fear or anger towards Damien. So they have to get out of there. Catherine suspects that there is something not right about her son, but Thorne brushes off her concerns. At night, Thorne enters Damien's room. But he realizes there is a dog in the room that is barking at him. The new nanny, Mrs. Baylock, reveals that it was Damien that brought this large watchdog to the home. He really likes the dog. The moment the priest is escorted out by security, Jennings, a news photographer, is snapping pictures. While developing the pictures of the day, Jennings notices the priest has a javelin over his head, so he finds the priest again to clarify it. The pictures again show the javelin above the priest. Soon afterward, Thorne is approached by Father Brennan. He tells Thorne that his wife is in danger and Damien must die. Brennan also suggests Thorne find a man called Bugenhagen who can show him how to kill Damien. Thorne thinks he is crazy and says never to bother him again. Meanwhile, when by Robert's brother, The Omen is a 2006 American supernatural horror film. It's a remake of the 1976 film of the same name. Like, share and subscribe my page if you like this video.